3 months ago, the ABA placed two law schools on probation and warned them they could lose their accreditation entirely. Last month, they let both of them off. Now, the official story is that everything is fine. The law schools fixed their problems, crisis averted, move along, nothing to see here. But the data tells a very different story. Now, I just spent the past few weeks inside the American Bar Association's own disclosure files, including bar passage numbers, probation notices, enrollment trends, financial filings, and the story I found is not the one being told publicly. There are four law schools in America right now that I don't think will exist 5 years from now, and the people running them already know it. And today I'm going to name them. I'm going to show you the data, and if you're applying to law school in the next 2 cycles, what I'm about to share might be the most important 15 minutes of your career. Now, quick thing before we get into it. I've been teaching the LSAT for 20 years now. I raised my own LSAT score from a 152 to a 175. I've helped thousands of applicants over the years, and I'm tired of watching smart people walk into law schools they never should have applied to, take on debt they're going to spend their whole lives paying down, and end up worse off than when they started. That is the reason I'm talking about this today. If you're an applicant, you deserve to know what's actually happening, and admissions certainly is not going to tell you, so I will. Now, here is what most applicants don't understand about how law schools die. They don't die overnight. They die slowly, then all at once. There's a pattern. Bar passage rates slip. The American Bar Association puts the school on notice. Applications drop. The school admits weaker students to fill seats. Bar passage falls further as a result. Faculty leave, the best students transfer out, and 2 or 3 years later, the lights go off. And that cycle used to take 5, 7, maybe 10 years, but going forward, it's going to take only 2 years, and here's why. July 1st, less than 3 months from today, the federal government kills the Grad Plus loan program. The program that for 20 years let law students borrow the entire cost of attendance from the government. The new rule is you can only borrow $50,000 a year, $200,000 lifetime cap. That is it. Now, here's the thing. More than half of ABA accredited law schools charge tuition above $50,000 a year. That's tuition alone before you've paid your rent or eaten a meal. Now, schools at the top can adjust easily. Their students have parents who can easily write checks. Their endowments are measured in the billions, so Harvard isn't worried and Yale isn't worried. But the schools in the bottom third, the ones charging $50,000, $55,000 a year for mediocre outcomes, the ones where 90% of the student body was funding through Grad Plus, the ones that are serving applicants without family money or scholarships, those law schools don't have a business model anymore. And the ones that are already in trouble with the ABA are going first. Which brings me to school number one, the Inter-American University of Puerto Rico. If you pull up their 509 report, you're going to see that their first-time bar passage rate is 49%. 108 graduates took the bar last year, 54 passed, 54 failed. It's a coin flip. That is the worst first-time bar passage rate of any ABA-accredited law school. That is the worst by more than 10 points. So watch what happens next. 2020 graduates, 2-year bar passage rate, 62%. 2021, 65% bar passage rate. 2022, 69% bar passage rate, still out of compliance all 3 years. September, a couple months ago, the American Bar Association finally runs out of patience, places them on formal probation, orders the dean to appear before the council to show cause why this school should keep its accreditation at all. Then in January, a couple months ago, they squeak back into compliance just barely. Their probation is lifted by a thread. And now the school's marketing team is telling applicants the crisis is over, that you can apply with confidence. But what they're not telling you is that their median LSAT is a 144. That's the bottom 5 in the country. Their admitted students are scoring at the level law professors will tell you off the record is the cutoff for students who can pass a bar exam without intensive intervention. And their student body is almost entirely federally financed. And so when Grad Plus dies this summer, the parents covering a $20,000 annual gap don't exist for this applicant pool. And the next time bar passage slips even slightly, they are back on probation. And the ABA has already shown their patience is gone. That is the worst bar passage rate in America, just escaped probation by inches lowest median LSAT in the country. Student body is dependent on a federal program that is about to disappear, and it's a jurisdiction where demand for new lawyers has been flat for a decade. I do not see a scenario where this school survives the next 5 years in its current form. And so if you are holding an admission letter from Inter-American, walk away, retake the LSAT, apply next cycle. A wasted year is a year, but a degree from a school that closes during your enrollment is a lifetime. Now, before we get to school number 2, I want you to understand something. The school I'm about to name has been on the ABA's hit list for 5 years straight. They lost their parent university in 2023. They run 2 campuses they can't afford. They just escaped losing their accreditation by 1 percentage point, and their tuition is right at the new federal loan cap. It is Cooley Law School. They are the case study. They are the poster child for everything that has gone wrong in legal education over the past 20 years. In 2020, the ABA found Cooley out of compliance, gave them 2 years to fix it. Following year, still not compliant, the ABA gave them 3 more years. But this past September, the ABA put Cooley on formal probation. Then in November, Cooley just barely made it back into compliance based on ultimate bar passage rates by 1.2%. But their first-time bar passage rate in 2024 is only 51.5%. That's 22.6% below the Michigan state average. Their 2-year bar passage rate for 2022 graduates is 57.47%, the lowest in America. If they make any dip in the next cycle, they're back on probation. But the bar numbers aren't even the real problem here. Look at this. They run 2 campuses, one in Lansing, Michigan, one in Tampa Bay, Florida. And most law schools cannot support even one campus profitably. Cooley has 2 of them. And in 2023, Western Michigan University killed its partnership with Cooley. And they're freestanding again. They have the same profile as Thomas Jefferson School right before the ABA pulled its accreditation in 2024. Their tuition is $50,590, right at the federal loan cap. Their median LSAT is 147, median GPA 3.09, down from 3.15 the year before. And when you see falling admissions metrics, that tells you we're in a death spiral. They're admitting weaker students to hit their enrollment targets, which means bar passage gets worse, which means probation comes back. If you stack it all up, they have the lowest 2-year bar passage in America, just escaped probation by 1 point, lost their university parent, running 2 campuses they can't afford. I've run the math a dozen different ways. I can't find a scenario where Cooley exists in its current form in 2030. Best case scenario, they close their Tampa Bay campus, they cut their faculty, shrink to Michigan only. Worst case, teach out by 2028. School number 3, Pontifical Catholic University of Puerto Rico, same ABA pattern as Inter-American, back in compliance in June 2025 after years of extensions, but wait till you see their median LSAT. It's a 137. That is their median. Half of their students have below that. They're the bottom 1 or 2 schools in the country. National median LSAT is 156 for admitted students. Pontifical Catholic is 19 points below that. The students walking into this school are roughly at the 10th percentile nationally. This is what the ABA calls standard 501 noncompliance. They're taking students who don't appear capable of completing law school and passing the bar. Now look at what happens to their students. 79 graduated in 2024. Only 19 of them got full-time long-term bar required jobs. That's 19 out of 79, only 24%. So 3 out of every 4 Pontifical Catholic graduates don't get a job that requires a law degree after spending 3 years of their life after borrowing 6 figures. Their bar passage rate in 2022 was 62%. The school says they're going to improve. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But it's not going to fix their employment math. And they have 2 law schools in Puerto Rico that are ABA accredited, Pontifical Catholic, Inter-American. Both of them have bar passage problems, employment problems, both competing for a shrinking applicant pool in a market where they have a declining population and demand for new lawyers has been flat for a decade. So the market there can probably support only 1 struggling law school, but cannot support 2. And when loan caps hit, even worse. Most likely scenario, the weaker school folds and the stronger one absorbs its students under a teach-out arrangement. Other scenario, both of them collapse and Puerto Rico has 0 ABA-accredited law schools within 5 years. Either way, enrolling in Pontifical Catholic is a bad move, uniquely bad. I would not enroll here anytime soon until the consolidation question is answered. Now, the fourth school I want to talk about is not actually one specific school, it's more of a category. I kind of went back and forth on whether I should even name a fourth school. There were 3 or 4 different candidates I could have picked, but naming one specific school felt misleading because the truth is there are probably 6 to 10 different schools that would fit that same profile. I'd rather give you a general framework you can apply yourself than name only one school and let the others off the hook. Here's the profile you want to look out for. Is the law school freestanding? Meaning, do they have a parent university to absorb their losses or not? If enrollment drops and there's no bigger institution to hide the deficit inside, you're going to see the problem and the law school's in trouble. Second big thing you want to look for is the tuition above $50,000 a year. Is it above the federal loan cap that takes effect in July? Third thing you want to look for is their first-time bar passage rate below 70%. Is it significantly below their own state's bar average? Next, is their bar required employment under 65%, meaning more than a third of graduates don't get a legal job 10 months out of school. You also want to look at falling admissions metrics. Is their median LSAT or GPA dropping over the course of 3 years? That's a red flag. Are they located in a saturated state? For example, Florida has 11 different ABA-accredited law schools. California has 19. Illinois has 9. If you're in a state with too many schools chasing the same applicants, the marginal school is going to die first. Now, if a school you're considering hits 4 out of those 6 factors, you're looking at a school that might be in real trouble. If it hits 5 or 6 of those factors, you should walk away. So you can research this yourself. Look up the 509 reports for any given law school that you're considering. Apply that framework yourself. Another few categories to pay attention to. Look at freestanding Catholic schools in saturated states. Look at regional law schools in states with declining populations. Look at schools that are specialty relying on a narrow applicant pool. Standalone law schools whose parent universities that have a shaky financial profile. You're going to know them when you see the data. So first thing, pull up the 509 report. Every ABA-accredited law school is required to publish one. You can find them at abarequireddisclosures.org. You can download the PDF, look at the numbers, the ultimate bar passage rate, first-year enrollment trend over 3 years, median LSAT and GPA over 3 years, and also search the ABA public notices. Go on the American Bar Association website, find this section of legal education, look at the public notices page. Any sanction, probation, or censure the last 5 years is a red flag, and schools aren't going to advertise this. You got to look yourself. Then run the cost to outcomes math. Look at 3 years of tuition plus 75 grand for living expenses. That is your investment. Look up the school's bar required employment rate and their median private sector starting salary and multiply that salary by 3. If your investment is more than 3 times your expected starting salary, the math is not good. If it's more than 4x, the math is really bad. Don't enroll, retake the LSAT, apply somewhere else. Those filters will catch almost every school that is in structural trouble. But bigger picture, let's zoom out for a second. Legal education has been in trouble for quite a while now. Too many law schools, tuition's too high, not enough accountability. And there were a couple of factors that held it up. The first was the Grad Plus loans. The second was the ABA extending non-compliant schools year after year. Those props are gone. The ABA is cracking down, and the federal government is taking away the loan caps, the loan machine that kept the marginal schools alive. Top of the market, of course, is fine. The T14, including Yale and Harvard and Stanford, Columbia, they're going to be fine, but the bottom of the market is going to get crushed. My prediction is that between 2027 and 2030, at least 5 to 8 ABA-accredited law schools will announce closures, teach-out plans, or accreditation withdrawal, maybe more. The schools I named today are my top bets for going first, but the actual list is much longer than that. And I've been doing this for 20 years, coaching students, watching the same mistakes get made over and over. If you're applying this cycle, deposit deadlines are coming up. Some are this month, some are in June. That means you've got a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, to figure out whether your top choice is one of the schools in serious trouble.